I just want you to know that I clicked that button exactly when it said it's time to go live. Like
Nice.
0 seconds remaining.
That's what the fans want.
John, the fan, the fans, three of them, two of which are probably us. The third of which is, I don't know. Do you have a family member who would watch you stream?
No.
A parent?
Double
Well, I
no.
don't either. Okay. Third, mysterious. Um,
Yeah.
so you asked right before we came on who's gonna share today, and I told you before we came live that I think I updated my Chrome properly right before we started.
You think you're ready? Yeah.
So I think that I am capable or able to do it.
Yes. I love it.
But before we do that, John, I want to know about your name today or your title today, Sneezy Dad.
I'm
You got some
just, I
allergies or
don't,
what?
I have never, like growing up, I didn't have allergies. And I've been experiencing some allergy symptoms. It's possible that it's the smog from Canada.
Ooh, yeah,
There's all those fires and like all that bad
dirty
air quality
Canada.
stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
and so it's possible it's that, but I'm just real sneezy lately. I'm like achy and
Do you
I don't
get
know.
have you been getting seasonal allergies as an adult more recently,
This is the first time I've
or is
noticed it.
this year? This is the first time.
Yeah.
Let's chalk it up to the wildfires.
Okay, thanks.
Is it not wild how I mean it's June 7th and
Yeah.
we've already had two fires in the Midwest, or the two fires that have disrupted the air in the
Life.
Midwest.
Yes. Hmm.
One from Western Canada and one from Eastern Canada. Like it's early June. It's
A
not even
little
the hot
early
part
for
of the
me.
season. It's really early.
Yeah.
I think that we're doomed basically. That's the
No, you'll be
TLDR.
fine. I wouldn't worry about it.
So we've got all the time in the world to fix it.
Tonight I'm drinking a Liquid Death.
Grim
This is their
Leafer?
yeah, this
Does that
is their
say? Is that
iced
what that
tea.
says?
Yeah.
Oh, iced tea. Iced tea is disgusting. But it's a good name, solid name. You're never
You
gonna
don't
make me happy
like
with
iced
that
tea?
shit
Who
drink.
doesn't like iced tea?
I do not, as I just stated. I'll tell you about my name, John. Do you want to know about my name or title?
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me more about third place dad.
I took third place at a race tonight. That's why I'm late. Is because I had to do a race that
Was it out
my
of three?
kids. It was out of five.
Oh,
Not far off. It was fine. I swam, and then I ran, and it was fun. I would do it again. Let's see. Are you ready to get going?
I'm ready. I think that you were gonna share first,
I
and there's
said
probably a
that.
note stock knowing you and how organized you are.
I'd like that's a really nice thing to say to somebody.
You're welcome.
Let's do entire screen. Actually, I'm gonna share this for like 2 seconds, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
have to share something different.
Okay.
All right. Hey, let's go look at this notes. I like to look at it in the GitHub
Okay.
repo. I don't know how you feel about that, but
Feel great.
that's what I'm gonna do. We do have a notes file for today. Oh, by the way, P.S. Sorry for starting half an hour late. Pavlos especially seems to be the only one who was affected by that.
I mean, it was fine by me. Hey, we bought a car today.
What?
Do we
You
talk
should.
about personal stuff on this
No,
stream?
I think we absolutely do. I'm gonna stop sharing because I want to hear more about your car.
Shit, we just lost our one viewer. Um, Jess's car. It was like I have the sedan. Jess has the minivan. The minivan has been having trouble. It's an old car. It's a 2012, and so we did something where you can like go onto CarMax's site and like see how much they'd give you for the vehicle, and it was equal to the repair like the amount of the repair value. So we could either sell the car or repair it, and it's the same amount of money. That's a bad spot to be in.
Is that what they refer to as the car is totaled? When they say the car is
I
totaled,
actually,
is that not what it means?
I think now that you're saying that, you're right. I never would have come up with that, but I think you're right. So, Jess went to CarMax today. She did some browsing around. First, she went to a Chevy dealership looking for one of these sweet new EVs they have, Chevy Bolt.
Volt or Bolt?
So
Because
Volt
don't
was
they
the
have
first
both?
one. Yeah. Oh, Pavlos is here. Hello. But now they call it. That's pretty good. Now they call it
I did the thing.
the Volt, and it's a little bit nicer. No, Bolt.
Oh,
Shit.
they're already onto the Colt at this point. Is it literally the same? It's like the same car. It just went through.
Well, I think it's been through revisions.
redesign.
Yeah, I mean
Okay.
it's different.
Sure, but it's like the same. It's like the same model. It like the what's an example? Like the Toyota Rav4 goes through revisions where it changes.
However, I think the Volt was a hybrid and the Bolt is a pure EV.
Okay, so it's pretty different
In that
in
sense.
some ways. In that
But it's
sense,
still faithful to that idea of like a little bit of a mini SUV. I don't know, maybe there's a better
Yeah.
name for that.
so it is fully electric.
The one
Did I
that
hear
we
that
did
correctly?
not get is fully
The one that you did
electric.
not get. Okay, yes. So she went looking at Chevrolet. Jesus, I've interrupted you too many times. She went to look at the Chevrolet dealer
Yeah.
for that vehicle and did not buy it.
They like have none, and there's
Yes.
a 20-person deep waiting list, and they're not even taking any more orders because supply chain.
Yes, because this is the world we live in at this
It's a
point.
really bad time to be in the car market, and yet we wanted to, and sort of felt like we had to, and so we bought one, and we ended up with a Chevy Equinox.
Is it new or is it used?
It's used. We bought it from CarMax, and so they bought our van for more than the repair, which was nice.
Yes, that is
A little
nice.
bit more than the repair, and that was nice. And so now we have a new to us car.
But you have it. Like you did not have to wait for this thing. That's
drove
pretty
it.
incredible.
Yep.
Also, how used is it?
2019.
And like how many miles?
And I'm in the neighborhood of 20,000 miles.
Oh,
Which
that's
is
like nothing. That's
very
basically new. Basically new.
it's pretty good.
Congratulations.
Thanks. But
We-
so I had to like leave work early, drop everything, run over with the it's just been like kind of a wacky day.
Yeah.
So anyway, all this to say, I was happy to start at 9 and have a little bit of time.
Sure. Good. We need to buy a new car, and we've been talking about it for 2 years. Ours is a 2009 that we need to replace, and it's ready. Okay. Car talk is done.
Now let's actually start the show.
Start the show. I'm gonna share a screen, and then I'm gonna unshare a screen, basically pretty quickly. Okay. So here's what we're doing today. Agenda. Follow up. Item number 1. Let me make that a little bit bigger. Our last stream made our number 1 Fan Pavlos scream, and this is why I need to unshare and reshare. Because what I learned about StreamYard is that I can share audio from something, but only if you share just that tab. You can't share your audio. I don't know. Tell me if you can hear this. Did you catch that? Okay, good. Let's watch it again. So this is not Pavlos screaming, but this is our good friend Pavlos making siren noises.
Doing sounds.
But like, it's not just the noise. It's not just the sounds. It's the facial expression too. It's like it's so good.
Not cracking a smile either. Just real serious about it.
So Pavlos had this reaction the last time we were hanging out. Not that he had a reaction, and I wanted to just follow up on a couple things that he pointed out.
Yep.
So the whitespace issue, John. Do you remember we had like a diff? We were doing a diff on your computer, and there was some mysterious whitespace problem that you were trying to figure out. Like, was it
because like I wasn't sure if it was trying to tell me that there was like tabs instead of spaces. Sometimes you can make those kinds of white space errors, and a diff would maybe show that.
Totally.
That's not what it was, though, right?
That's not what it was. So, let me try doing something and save without formatting. If I do a git diff right here, I think that this is going to show us. Oh, geez, it's so big that I can't actually see anything. Mine doesn't. Oh no, I know.
You need to delete that line.
Yes. Okay. Quit out of here. Let's. Oh god, I can't navigate this horribly
So small.
ballooned. Oh, and I hit the wrong keystrokes. What am I doing with my life? All right, so let's try this.
Yeah, there you go. He's gonna be screaming again.
Yeah. Okay. So it was basically something like this.
Too. Yes.
Yep. So it was like this little bit of green stuff at the beginning.
The darker
highlighted,
green.
it all goes gray. The darker green on the left, and we were kind of hung up like, does that mean that there's some indentation that like is it using tabs instead of spaces or spaces instead of tabs, whichever you have configured or not configured?
Was it that class of problem?
It was literally just the fact that in the diff in the changes that you had made, the indentation changed. Like it had gone from 2 spaces to 4 spaces or something like that.
Yeah.
So this is Pavlos did not enjoy this, and he said he was screaming at his screen.
Right.
I wanted to explain that. Any questions or comments about that?
No.
Cool. Then the next thing that Pavlos had a problem with was so we were. I mean, I can't believe you'd be mad about this. That feels a little bit like a little gatekeepy for him to be mad about this, but whatever. We were trying to figure out. We were looking into something. We needed we were looking at the manifest JSON format, and like it was wildly different than the code example that we were looking at. And one of the properties that we wanted to set had something to do with a Chrome extension ID. We had to like give the Chrome extension ID access to something, and we were like, where does this ID come from? We didn't ever set this. What he pointed out was, if I go to my extensions, let's manage my extensions. Inside of this view, you are doing a good job. This extension is right here. The ID is right there. So if I wanted to give it
those.
What's that?
In effect, each extension in this view has its own ID.
Yeah, and it looks like you can just like type a bunch of keys, a bunch of letters, and you'll probably get a Chrome ID, extension ID. That's not real. So then the other thing is, if you were to publish this to the Chrome extension store or whatever they call it, you'd get a different ID.
I will note. Oh shoot! I'm trying to see. So you keep going. I'm going to reinstall the extension because I uninstalled it, and I want to see if my ID matches your ID, or if this is like machine specific, or if it's
totally.
Yeah.
What happened to dog fooding?
What's your prediction?
I think it's going to be different.
I do too.
And I think that makes. I would be very surprised. Like it would have to be thumbprinted off of, like fingerprinted off of, just like a hash of the source code or something, to get the same. But I would be surprised if that's
mine
what it's
starts
doing.
with NMIL.
Well, I closed my window, so I have no idea.
Yeah,
mine starts with Fage.
Okay, so this is not going to work for us.
But it doesn't. So I mean, what we ended up doing instead, we totally didn't do that.
We went a different direction.
We went a different direction, and we said, "Oh, let's just give it access to everything."
Right. I was excited to make a web page that I could send you to, so that I could get it, like fish out your praise JSON file.
Yeah. So this is what we ended up doing, was just saying it matches on all URLs.
That's right.
We could have put in here something like, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like Chrome extension ID, and then whatever. We could make that work with like a .env file, maybe. Maybe that's something we could do.
Maybe.
I don't think that we should do that now. But I think if we actually want to like ship any of this to like get anyone else to use it or let anyone else use it, we probably should not open it to all URLs.
Okay, one more thing I wanted to follow up on here is I just removed and then re-added "You're doing a good job," and the ID was stable.
Oh, it was. That's super interesting. How do you think it does that?
I don't know. But now I want to make a change to my source, uninstall.
And then,
well, whatever. Let's not worry about this because we're not going to do this. We're going to keep it the way it is, right?
I think that sounds good.
Okay.
Forget it.
I'm just
Okay, so I think we've reached the end of our follow-up section. Do you think that there's anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Orient ourselves. Last time, what did we do? We basically... Oops, there's the VS Code. Last time, what we did was we added this resource file, the data.praise.json, which is this JSON file right here. Let's turn the word wrap on so we can see the whole thing. Which is literally just this. And then in our new tab.js, we changed it so that it is actually calling the Chrome API, chrome.runtime.getURL, to load that JSON file. And then once that is done, then it takes the values, takes the praises out of the response, and then it gets a random one and sticks it into the page. Yeah, so I think what we talked about doing next is if we...
Can I see it again? If you do a new tab, will I see it?
Sure. You certainly should.
Nice.
You're doing a great job. We got the time. We got this stuff where I talk about British Airways. So last time you and I talked after the last stream, you were like, I would like to see some real data in there, or maybe it was in the last stream. What kind of real data do you want to see? Like, is it more real than what's here? Do you want to actually like know things about my life?
I mean, your praise is probably private in some.
I don't really care.
Okay.
I don't really care, but I guess what I'm asking is would that be different than? Would it be significantly different? Like, what would that give you that you don't have?
A wider range of examples, more realistic examples.
Okay. That's definitely something we can do.
I'm just going to that place of like, sometimes you make mistakes when you're using junk data because it's like you don't anticipate something about your real data. And so if there's no reason not to, then we should probably...
So one thing I will say...
I'm just noticing these IDs. Why do we have IDs in there again?
Probably...
It's hard to remember things.
Probably because we thought we were cool.
Because the first one doesn't. The next
right. Why would we need to target a specific one?
Maybe we were just like troubleshooting or playing with things or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we need it.
So then, I mean, another thing we could do is extract this to markdown.
Yes, that's where I'm headed with it also. Okay. Is I think that's a more interesting problem to solve than just putting in more data. Like if it's the only thing I can think that's unrealistic it doesn't align with the realistic data is that the realistic data is probably longer and like it can have more paragraphs. Like, we can stick something in here like he likes my jacket very much and I like his sweatshirt today, but I don't know why he keeps drinking that weird, gross drink.
I can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, so like there will be some of those. We might see some. This one time, Steve put an emphasis around that one, or something like that.
Cool.
So I'm just adding a little bit of like variety to. If I refresh this page, we should see eventually. Oh, really? We're always going to see the same one. So here's the second paragraph.
Yep.
We can style it. We can style that differently, but that's again less interesting to me than the markdown problem. Okay, so let's jump back to this, and let's just say forget it. We've got real enough data. I want to enter markdown data as markdown, not JSON/HTML. This is where I think it gets quite interesting, and I want to hear what you have to say about how you think we should do this.
I mean, if it were me and I were doing this by myself, I would probably reach for Ruby at this point for no other reason than I have good experience in, like, the Ruby standard library gives me everything I would need to, well, I guess not to go from markdown, but it would let me do the JSON aspects of this.
Sure.
So just because of pure, like what I'm used to, that's probably where I'd go. But we shouldn't do that. We should stick in JavaScript land, and we should try to figure out, like, should put a package JSON file in this thing and get like a JSON. Well, I guess we would need a markdown to JSON.
Sure, we can find a library that does it. The part that I'm more interested in hearing about is like life cycle wise. Where does this fit in the life cycle of this app? So are you thinking because I don't want this file hard coded in the extension. I want to be able to change. I want to be able to add to it. I want to be able to transport it across computers. And that means that I'm not going to just have the markdown file here inside of the source, right? I don't want to include it in the Git repo. Or were you thinking that we would?
I think I was thinking that we would.
Okay.
Tell me more about what you're thinking in terms of syncing. Because you would have to sync, right?
So how I was thinking about it is like, if maybe it's just a form, like I can say go edit the praise, and like I dump a bunch of markdown in there, and then that turns it into this JSON file or something like that. Just mostly so that I don't have the markdown or even this praises.json in the repo, because that doesn't feel right to me. That feels like it's now my extension and no one else can use it.
I mean, you could ignore it.
I could ignore it. So then if you were going to start using this extension, how would you expect to fill it in?
Yeah,
would you be like, I'm going to go put stuff in there?
Yeah, so maybe there's some like instructions or a knit step that initializes an empty praises MD or whatever, and then that's where you go author your praises, and then there's a build step that makes it into JSON or whatever, and then it can be read in.
Okay, so I think I can be cool with this. It steps out of the extension land. Like we're stepping out of extension land. It's not that we're uploading the data through the extension itself. It's that we're shoving the data into this thing through some command line, through some commands in our terminal, and then we've installed the extension from source, and then it's just going to pick up the data that we put in there. I think that I'm fine with that. Okay.
Let's keep brainstorming here just for a little bit longer. One other thing we could do is extensions can do more than one thing. So we could have, in addition, like if you go to the manifest JSON file quick.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a Chrome URL overrides key, and that's where we've specified our new tab HTML.
Right.
If we think back to like kind of where we started from, we picked a template and we kind of like got to where we are by using a Chrome extension template, and we picked one that was like close to what we wanted, and then we kind of like took things out. Mm-hmm. If we had picked a different extension example, we could have picked one that was more form related, where you like click a thing, like your extension has an item in the Chrome toolbar. You click it, and then you have your own little bit of GUI.
You get a big text box that you shove all the markdown into, click a button, and somehow it gets somewhere.
So I'm kind of coming around to your idea of maybe there's two parts to this extension. One is the override of the new tab, and the second is appraises little icon in the Chrome bar, or maybe there's a keyboard shortcut, whatever. But you press that thing, boop, you get a form, and then you can enter your new praise, and then that writes it to the JSON file that's been get ignored and maybe initialized empty or something like that.
Totally.
That's kind of more where you were headed.
That's where I was headed. What I could see us doing is I can see us doing this in iterations. Like probably the quickest, dirtiest way to get data transformed from Markdown to JSON/HTML is for us to add some command that we'll type into our terminal, and it'll generate the stuff. And then to make it a more shareable or more accessible to non-programmers type of extension. I mean, it's still using Markdown, so like it's kind of not accessible to non-programmers. But to make it more accessible to other people, then we basically do that, but inside of the form instead of the command. So I'm good with like proceeding with the command, and then maybe we decide if we want to do something different.
I'm hemming and hawing again. Sorry, one more. Oh, I need to go to
make decisions quickly.
No, I know. Where the hell is it?
Oh yeah. What are you researching right
Best
now?
artsy sign up. So I made a Chrome extension to help myself more quickly fill out the new sign up form, the new user form on Artsy's website. And actually, can I just hop on the screen quick? That would probably be
okay, all yours.
I do present, share screen, entire screen. This one, it's going to be goofy. Okay. So, bump up the jam, right? Too small. Okay. Best artsy sign up. And it has in the scripts. No. Pop-up. Okay, so the pop-up is where I have the default HTML. So here is a little bit of HTML that is a form that asks for your name, email, and then has a couple buttons you can press. And then it has a config.js down here. And that config.js is over here, and it does what? It like handles some oops.
Yep.
Handles submit, handles reset, set the form values, set the set. Okay, so here. So
local storage.
I had to use the storage APIs with Chrome to be able to capture what you've entered in that form and like persist it. We might want to explore quick. Can we write, like, we already figured out how to read from disk? Should we explore how to write?
Same page, exact same page. I totally wanted to research that too. Let's look it up. Let's see. So the name of the, oh, you want me to present again? Okay.
Yeah, let's go back to you.
Okay, so the name of the Chrome API that we're using to read a file is Chrome runtime get URL. So I wonder if there's like a writes to Chrome runtime get URL write to file. Let's see what we have here in the Chrome.runtime API reference. I just want to make sure I'm in the right place. Oh yeah, so here's a get URL. So this is the right place. This is the right API. Converts a relative path to a fully qualified URL. Maybe there's some sort of write method here. Connect native, get background page. It's probably not a get. Open options page, reload, request update check, restart, send message. Let's send message. Sends a single message to event listeners within your extension or a different extension app. That's interesting. Like that might be a way to do it. Maybe there's something we can do with the listening to events that captures the input and then goes and overwrites that file in the file system. It feels like that feels like it might be a workaround, but it doesn't feel like it's the obvious way to do it. So maybe chrome.runtime event listener write file might be something. What does this say? Have an extension, listen for an event. That's not really what I want to do. Send a message. Message passing. So I feel like we could probably maybe make progress on this in the direction of making it work. I hesitate to say it's a slam dunk that we will get it to work. I do think that switching to local storage, we know that provides write and read capabilities. Right. I think it's probably more likely for us to get there, and get there more quickly, assuming it doesn't take us long to convert over to doing that kind of thing.
The problem to me is, what are you going to have to write these in each of your, you have more than one machine that you want to run this Chrome extension on, right?
For sure. So
how would you get that local storage from one laptop to the other?
So the way that I would do that is I would capture the markdown and I would send myself a message in Slack, and then I would copy that and paste it into.
So you would do double entry.
Text box. I would do double entry, yes, for sure.
So
and I would have no problem with that. Okay. That's not a. Yeah, I mean, synchronization across browsers, I feel is a totally different story, and that one that I am personally interested in.
Okay, well, maybe we should have been doing local storage all along.
I mean, we learned stuff along the way, right?
We sure did.
So should we start in that direction then? Kind of rewire this thing so that it's using local storage? Are you good with that?
Do one more lookup, which is
okay, let's explore.
Chrome extension sync storage or something like that. Yeah. This doesn't really answer your question.
PouchDB.
What?
I mean, that's a hard pass. I don't feel like that gets answered very much.
Shit. You can replace chrome.storage.local with chrome.storage.sync to sync the data automatically to any Chrome browser where the user is logged into.
Look at that.
If they have the sync feature enabled.
That sounds neat.
I'll bet you have to publish on the Chrome extension store for that kind of functionality, though.
You probably need a consistent ID.
I'm just thinking that, how else would Chrome serve that,
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So let's figure out baby steps. What are the baby steps that we can take? What's the first next thing? Most obvious next thing.
Should we start prototyping the form?
Sure, and worry about what's behind it later.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So then what we're interested in doing is, we're halfway through this episode. Should I keep driving?
Let's keep going.
Switch?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go slower if we do that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at. Can you share with me the code that you were showing for the artsy whatever thing? Because it looks like there was a lot of good stuff in there in terms of building a form.
Yes. Why don't I send you this link? What's the best way to send Steve a link?
Can you post it as a comment?
Yeah, of course I can. How? Oh, that's why, because this thing's not full screen. Oh, okay. What if I did that? Do you see a GitHub link?
I'm gonna show it.
Nice.
For the people, and then I'm gonna try to grab it, but I can't.
God.
But you know what? I'm gonna leave it up there, and
let's just watch you type.
Type it. artsy sign up. Okay, so then you're in the manifest JSON, etc. Okay, cool. Hide that comment. Nobody needs to see it anymore. Cool. Okay, so this is, let's just take a look at your manifest JSON. Make it bigger. Let's see. Oh, you have the background service worker. That's interesting. We have a
So there's like some icon stuff I had to do to be able to have a button in the Chrome bar, you know, sitting alongside 1Password or whatever else.
Cool. You've got this fill form command and then execute action. I don't know what the difference is there.
We can come back to those. Those are keyboard shortcuts.
Okay.
What I would focus on is the default pop-up bit.
Sure. Pop-up,
default.html.
Okay. So let's, so what we're going to do, and the background service. What does the service worker do? Let's take a look at that first. Adds a listener to the command. And then
maybe we actually don't need this. This is about excuse me. Oh, so check it out. That little bit there on 11 is kind of interesting. That gives you a hook into the life cycle of your extension, where on install you can initialize data to a certain state.
Perfect.
So for example,
right there.
Yes, exactly. And so if we
could set it to something silly.
Right. So the first praise is like a default to kind of get you going, whatever.
Totally.
Oh, wait a minute. So then won't we also have to have like a list of, like, are we going to end up building a CRUD situation here?
Why?
What if you misspell a praise? What if your cat hops on your keyboard while you got that praise form open?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think that it'll still be CRUD for a giant markdown blob. So I don't see it being CRUD for each individual praise. I see it being CRUD for all of the praise in the form of markdown.
But it's all going to be in local storage, right?
That would be fine. Or are you thinking each item is stored in local storage?
Right. What were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking that, but I maybe wasn't thinking that far ahead.
So let me say out loud what's clearly only in my head, which is that what I was expecting was like maybe in that on installed, we'd say like initial values is, well, maybe just an empty array.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's an array with one value, and the first value is some sort of like example praise. And then when we fill out the form and we hit add, then it would add an item to that array with a new praise. And so now we'd have not one, but two praises. And so when you hit Command T to make a new tab in your browser, it'd be randomly picking between those two. And then obviously as you add more, it'd be randomly picking through all of those. So that's all in local storage. There's no representation of that on disk.
Correct.
So it's ephemeral in a sense, where you'd only be able to see them on your new tab screen and then add to them with the things that we've discussed thus far. And so that's why I started to ask about CRUD, because I'm like, oh, well, what if a mistake is made? What if you want to edit one? What if you want to remove one, etc.?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think what I was thinking about that is when I want to change it. So when I go and I like dump in a bunch of markdown that has a bunch of different praise records in local storage, we can store both the origin of the whole big markdown blob and then the individual items. The app is going to show the individual items, but if I go back in and I want to edit, I'm going to be shown the origin, the big blob. I'm going to change the origin. I'm going to hit save, and it's going to go like regenerate all of the individual items. So like my interface with that data is just in the format of this giant thing. So I don't have to like go find individual items, etc., all that stuff. There's just a thing that like listens to when I change everything and goes to rewrite everything. Does that simplify it?
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing you say is we should prototype this form, even if it's just in like static HTML, because I think if we had something to look at, that might help our conversation.
Definitely. I think, oops, I'm just clicking buttons. I don't know how I made the left side go away, but there, okay. Okay, so the worker,
So let's
we
ignore
know that we
all
can
of
use
this.
it to initialize,
Yeah.
and then this I don't think we need to worry about at all.
I think we could even just ignore worker and just go to the make a pop-up folder, make
Static.
a default.html, and then literally drag that into Chrome off of your disk, and
Okay.
just look at it like that. It'll be like
I think that sounds good.
unstyled, you know?
You've got some style CSS, and
Thank you. I
then
appreciate
you have
that. Some style.
and then you have the handlers for the button clicks, etc. Set form values. This is preloading.
Right.
And then set list items. Set list items is
Well,
doing some
let's
UI
just
stuff.
do the form.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to get a sense for what's all here. Initialize form. Okay, initializing. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go, let's jump into our source, finally, 41 minutes in. And let's go to our manifest, and we want to add, let's see, we have new tab.html.
So it would be a sibling of Chrome URL overrides, and the key is actions, or action, excuse me. And then inside of there,
default pop-up.
Beautiful.
So look like that?
Yep. How about pop-up/default.html?
Pop-up/default.html.
Because then in that pop-up folder, we can put all of the items
Other
related
stuff.
to the pop-up and kind of have a...
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go in here. Oh my god, I can't read anything. And I'm going to put a folder in here. Let's click that button, and we'll call it pop-up. And then inside of that, we're going to put a file named default.html. And then if I go in here, I should be able to now just paste what I had grabbed from there. And we're going to name it something different. We're going to say praise editor.
Nice.
Fill the form with command U. Okay, enter or edit some praise markdown below, and then fill the form with command U. I don't know what that's doing.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about that.
I don't really. Okay, so label for praise markdown. Praise markdown. And then the name is praise markdown. And instead of an input type text, probably want this to be a text area. Yeah. Text area, don't need that. I think that there are other fields that I can put here, but I don't know what they are, so I'm just going to ignore it.
Totally.
And then you can leave a reset button, that sounds fine. And then an update button. And then this looks like...
That's like my list page. Like that's my list of items. I think
this is your R in the CRUD.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever.
I'm going to comment this out for now. That's a weird comment format.
Is that even valid?
I don't know. That looks like React comment or something. It's not even React comment. I don't know what that is. Wouldn't it be this?
Wow.
That seems right.
You've been working with HTML a long time if you remember how to comment in HTML.
I'm kind of an expert. Okay, so I added this HTML file, and how do I get to it? How do I make it come up? Is that where I need a worker?
Just so that we
just
can
wanna
get
browse
on
to
the
it?
same page, can we just like drag that into Chrome?
Sure. So let's move this to the left half, and then let's move this to the right half, and let's put this in here. Default HTML. And it's got some P's in there. That's super interesting. That looks like I didn't properly
Let's
format
look
the
at our
text area.
markdown again. Oh, because it's an open and close tag.
Yeah, it's not self-closing. So instead of that, I have to do /text area, which is strange and silly. Okay, so now we have that, and
Okay,
it's
so
got
now,
some buttons, and they don't do
given
anything.
this form, can you describe for me again your
Yeah, what I would expect in
expectations for
here.
how you would do this?
Let's make this a little bit bigger, and now shrink that little editor. What I would expect to be in here is Jon is cool. He likes crappy drinks though, and I can't get past that. When will he become an adult who drinks alcohol drinks?
Sneezy Dad's doing the best he can over here.
Sneezy Dad. All right, separator. Let's see. Pavlos. Sounds like a police car. But it's his facial expression that really makes it work. Separator. Do you get it?
Okay, this is helpful. So I'm picturing that lifecycle hook setting up initial data. And now I'm picturing a schema that includes like the raw markdown and then the processed markdown into the actual array of phrases that are hunks of HTML. Is that what you're thinking too?
I think that sounds exactly right. You said it in good words.
Cool. So then, so you hit update or you hit save or whatever you do. So this goes to local storage. It gets processed, whatever. Yep. Then you close this. You come back to this, and what you expect to see is that raw markdown populated in that text area again, and then that's where you're making any kind of edits.
Totally. Does that make sense to you?
It does now. I did not. I was not following you before.
Yeah. Do you think that it simplifies? I think that it simplifies the CRUD aspect of it because we don't have to worry about going in and like, oh, I'm going to go edit this one, find this one, delete this one.
Basically, I was
like. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was expecting to do this like in an editor, like in that markdown, like in a markdown file on disk. But this is better because while more ephemeral, it's not checked in. It's like it's in the extension as opposed to along with the extension or whatever. Yeah.
Totally.
So it took us 47 minutes, but we got there.
It's important. Important stuff. Okay. So where should we go next? We could, like, I see a couple of avenues. We can start to try to hook up this form. We can start looking at the lifecycle hook that fires on start and basically preloads these things.
I guess I'm thinking we should continue on the path of like what the user sees, like the UI aspects of it. Yeah, and kind of come back to some of the things that we'll need in terms of initialization, whatever.
Sure.
So
that sounds good.
We have
maybe we can just.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you.
I was just gonna say, so we have some updates to the manifest JSON file. Should we like reload that and see what's broken? Because I'm sure there's some icon stuff that we gotta do or something.
Oh, okay. So I have made all of my changes. I think that I have saved all of my changes. It looks like it. Now I want to go back over here to my extensions manager thingy, and I'm going to reload this, and let's see what happens. Reloaded.
Wow.
And now if I new tab, I'm still getting things, and it seems like it works. There is an icon associated with the tab.
Was there before?
Yes, that
no
shows up here
right?
in this extension. That's like that we inherited from the example we started with, and it doesn't make any sense, and we'll want to change it eventually, but it's not that important.
The StreamYard like watermark is kind of covering the part of your Chrome browser that I'm interested in, but like if you click on the puzzle piece and you get like the extensions like fly over, you see a.
There is an icon there. There is a pin here.
What happens if you hit that pin? Okay, so now you have like a little.
Now my icon is up there.
Okay, now what if you click it?
What? You get a little form.
Nice. That's great.
How wicked is that?
Cool. We're further along than I thought. I thought there was more horseshit you had to do.
Cool. Okay. Do you think we can make this update button do anything in the next, say, 5 minutes?
I think we can, Steve.
Okay, I would like to try to make that happen. So I'm going to jump back over here. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very quick commit, and I'm going to say, let's say this is add a static form for updating praise markdown.
Sweet.
And then I'm going to pair amend that. Well, I should probably make sure that you're there. I don't know who else would be. I'm going to pair amend that so you get credit. Cool. And then I'll just push that up for funsies. Okay, so this button needs a listener. I think that we're going to do this through, oops. It did those weird comments again. I tried to uncomment. I think we're going to do this by including the JavaScript file. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so I'll do that, and then I'm going to bounce back over to the example that you sent me, and I'm going to look for something that's like... Ooh,
yeah, let's almost read it up, like from bottom up. So you get your
bottom up. Okay.
Your
Okay,
window add event listener load initialize form, right? So like
Right.
we have functions, but the punchline is we add on load, and when we do, then the first thing we do is initialize form. So that's where I put like the laundry list of things that needed to occur, and then those sort of branch out.
And we also hook up these event listeners
Right.
to the buttons, or to something. I don't know what reset and submit refer to. I think that's probably the name of the button. But I guess we'll find out.
So 43 is adding an event listener to the form. Let's just get element by tag name. And so I'm listening for the submit event on form, and then executing the handle config submit function.
Which reads the stuff and then sets the local storage. Can we do this? Can we just do like this thing right here?
Totally.
So
we
let's
need a
make sure.
config.js, right?
We do, yes.
I don't know if that's the best name for these files, but like let's just keep going, right? Sure. Just like name
Praise
everything praise.
That's what I do. Praiseform.js. I mean, I guess it could be default.js. Whatever. Names are stupid. Handle config submit. I'm fine with that name. I don't care. Prevent default so that it doesn't like submit to a place, redirect you. Input tags, we're not going to want this. So document, well, maybe we do. I need to turn wrap on because I don't know what's going on. Query selector all, input type equals text. And then takes those tags, reduces it to store it in something. I think we basically want to do this. I'm going to comment this out right now. Let's comment this out right now. And let's just let's do this. Let's set praise markdown to Steve and Jon. Nice. I know it's not really important markdown, but I just want to connect it. And then the other thing I need to do is go back over here and grab those
initialization bits,
initializers. So boom, and now initialize form. I don't think I care about this. Oh yeah, I do, because I want to get the form, and then attach to those two events. Reset
so you want
submit.
So you want to kill 16. Right, you want to or comment, and you want to comment 18.
Don't need 18 because that's preloading the form.
And then you don't need 20.
This is, I don't think I'm ever going to need this one, so I'm just going to get rid of it.
Okay, so we're going to find the form. We're going to add a submit event handler, and we're going to do that work in a window load event. So what I think will happen is you'll type some markdown, you'll hit submit, the update button. It will write that sort of temporary data to local storage, and otherwise we'll see no other feedback
And we'll confirm that this happened by going into their inspector, the Chrome inspector, and just see that we see that local storage data there. So the last thing I want to make sure is I do have a form, so that's good. And then I do have a reset and a submit button. I'm not using the reset button yet, but I don't care. That's fine. Okay, so I don't think I need to reload because I think it should just do it, right? And so if I go into, into here, and I hit this update button, let me go to the inspector first. Let's open that up. That's not where I expected it to go. Let's embed it in here. Where is it? I wanna stick it in the same window. I don't know where that thing is.
I think you need that kebab thing, don't you? The ...
Yes. Put it at the bottom. Okay. I want that here. I want to zoom in. I want to look at my application, and then I want to look at my local storage and Chrome extension. I don't see anything there yet, but I think that if I go up here and I click on this little thing and I click this update button, nothing happens. Boom, 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 boom. But maybe if I refresh, no.
So a couple ways we can troubleshoot this. One is console log.
Sure, let's do that. So in this form.js, inside of this handle config submit is where we want to do prevent default, and maybe we do like console.log yo. And let's spit the event there too, just for funsies. And so now I'm going to refresh this page, and I'm going to go to my form. I wonder if because I'm doing this up here, it suggests that I need to reload it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we got away with not having to reload before because. Ooh, nice. Okay,
it's got an errors button.
Oh, we didn't ask first. We didn't update our manifest file to allow us to write to local storage.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's stuff that Pavlos took out for us. That now we have to put it back. I'm sorry, Pavlos.
So it's a key that's a sibling of action called permissions, and you just want to put storage in there.
Is it an object?
Oh, sorry, it's an array.
Okay.
Yep, and the first item of that array is simply storage.
Nope. Okay.
That'll take.
I think that's what I want.
Yeah.
That will take a reload or a refresh of the page.
Sorry, I meant go to the extension file, clear all to get those errors to go away. Because
good idea.
That'll help us know if we.
And now reload it.
Yep. Boom.
Reloaded.
Okay.
That seems good.
Nice.
I'm going to, let's just, where did I have, I guess I don't, I want to pull up that application. Oh yeah, so if I leave the console up, now when I click on this thing and I hit the update button, I should see something show up. I don't. Why do you think
actually,
that is?
now that I'm, we wouldn't need local storage permission to console log that we handled a click on a button.
Sure. I was just wondering if it would, I don't know, does it like look ahead to see what we're trying to do? Probably not.
I have two more permissions. One is called active tab and one is called scripting. I guess I thought they were unimportant, but we could add, those two.
Scripting maybe seems like it could be.
Maybe.
Okay. Bounce back over here and we're going to reload the extension. It reloaded, no errors. Now I'm going to go look over here and I'm going to try to click this update button again, and I'm still not seeing anything.
Would it be showing there? So if you go to the extensions tab, your second tab in Chrome, isn't there like a... Yeah, if you click details, what do you see? Is there like a... I thought maybe there's a place to capture these logs. Is it really going to go?
Log.
Yeah, like is it actually going to go in there?
Well, what we might be able to see is maybe now here we see some data in the local storage. That is not the case. So it doesn't seem like it's doing those things.
We're 1 minute too. We should
I was
stop
gonna
and
say,
talk.
we should break. Okay, we're gonna make this work.
Yeah.
It sucks to stop on a not working state, but I think that that's fine.
And it's kind of how it works sometimes.
It's not
That's the
always
job.
perfect. Cool. So what we did today was we talked a lot.
Talked a lot. We aligned
But we
on what we're
synchronized.
doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that that's good. And I think we're both comfortable with it and happy with it. And it gives us, we were worried that we would run out of content for this. So we've got at least 6 more streams out of this.
Yes, there's at least 6.
Cool. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is, we can talk about this offline, but I'll just say here, it's going to be a while before we stream again, because summertime, I'm going to be out of the country and out of my home for a while. So,
Got it.
All right.
Thanks you to all our fans. Thank you to StreamYard for making a great product. Thank you to the M&M's company for making caramel M&M's. Am I forgetting any other sponsors?
Napalm Death.
You mean
Isn't that the name of it? Liquid Death. Napalm Death. Whatever. It's the same stupid name.
Grim Reaper, thank you very much.
All right. Hey, John, thanks for hanging out.
I love you too.
Oh, yeah, I love you. Oh, bye, Pavlos! Pavlos says,
Bye.
enjoy the holidays. Goodbye, Pavlos. I can't believe you hung out with us that whole time.
Thank you.
All right, I'm clicking this button.
Okay.